You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your expanded local news. The Christian County Health Board announced the complete revocation of Wits End in Taylorville. The health department announced the unanimous decision at a meeting on Wednesday evening. The revocation comes after multiple failed inspections and hearings. Both the health department and Wits End gave statements. The Christian County Health Department's Alexandra Everly pointed out multiple failed issues and multiple failed inspections during their time to talk, including dead pests, various issues with food code violations, an under temperature buffet, issues with a door that wasn't sealed, allowing pests inside, among several other issues. On Wits end of things, Charles Bone announced during his rebuttal that plans are moving forward with new management to make the necessary changes, saying that he understood the severity of the situation. He outlined several of the changes that he wanted to make moving forward. After the executive session, it was announced that Wits End would have its license revoked. Regional Radio News talked to the owners after the meeting, but they did not have a statement. Stay tuned to Regional Radio News for a complete and total write-up on the meeting, including audio and pictures as of today. The Taylorville Park District is hoping to move forward with their plans to improve Janes Park. If and when this happens, it will be with enthusiasm from local community members. They had the chance to learn more about those plans and provide feedback at a public forum on Monday night. The proposed changes include expanding and refurbishing the tennis courts area and modifying the playground space to improve safety and accessibility. Recreation Director Jessica Franks has taken the lead in these efforts. She says the proposal for the tennis area has generated much of the excitement, in part because it's expected to be compatible with pickleball.
During the meeting, we presented all of that to the public members that had came, and everybody was very receptive to the plan that we had. So no one requested any changes or had any problems with anything that we had presented. They seemed very excited with all of it. But a lot of the people that were at the meeting were just excited about the possibility of having additional pickleball courts. So tennis won't always be using them, while the kids are in school and during the off season. It's always, I look for it to be primarily used for pickleball, and there'll be the 3 courts out there. So they were very happy to hear that that was a part of the plan as well.
The Park District will apply for a state grant, which would finance the Janes Park project. Frank says the Park District will not require other sources to fund their efforts, but that's assuming that they even receive said grant money.
Well, this is just an application, so there's no guarantee that we would receive it. We are right in the middle of the application, and that's due at the end of next month. And that actually is for $600,000, and that's what we've kept all of the spending to. I mean, the park would be able to afford, small incidentals that probably came along, but this is something that will be pretty much, I'd be willing to say 100% funded by the OSI grant.
You can find previous reporting from Regional Radio News regarding the Janes Park project proposal and the grant application on our website. Simply follow the links from this story at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. The Christian County Fairgrounds will again host the Meet the Machines event this year. It's slated for August 23rd of 2025. With the help of West Sand and Trucking as the event organizer, the fairgrounds will be covered in massive machines of all kinds, from race cars to cranes and everything in between. A new twist is coming to the family favorite this time around. At 5 p.m. that evening, a combine demo derby with 14 total combines will run the gauntlet to see who can come out on top. Brent West, owner of West Sand and Trucking, talks first about the history behind the unique occasion. West has helped hold Meet the Machines since its beginning and talks his ultimate goal for the large showing.
We're going into our 11th year this year. It started out on the square with a small town Taylorville, and it was during a farmer's market, and we didn't realize it would be so big. We've run out of space, and then of course we couldn't bring the large construction equipment on tracks. So that's why we looked for another location. The fair board, Christian County Fair, has been they donate the use of the farm or the fairgrounds. Can't say enough good about them, and it just keeps growing every year. Well, how this all started, why I wanted to get to the fairgrounds was the main thing to get equipment on tracks because we couldn't have that on the pavement on the square. But since we started opening up to the heavier construction equipment, now it's just grew to everything. I mean, there's no way I can name it all, but there's going to be articulated trucks. I mean, stuff you don't see every day. Let the kids see what their parents do. Well, last year we had 78 pieces of equipment. My ultimate goal is to break 100 pieces of equipment. So, and it's all open to the public. It's all free. If anybody wants to bring equipment, they can get a hold of me or they can just come out. We'll be out there organizing things Friday and early Saturday morning. So anybody that wants to bring anything, they're welcome.
And while the event is completely free, donations are being requested this year. West is hoping to fill the trailer with food, school supplies, and toiletries.
Well, this year something new. We're hoping as you come in, when you first come in to meet the machines, where they have the little spot where you get your goodie bags and the stickers and stuff for the kids, we're going to have a semi-trailer parked there. And for all the unfortunate or people that's having trouble in the community, we're collecting toiletries, non-perishable food items, and school supplies. I mean, just anything would be appreciative. You know, we'd like to fill the semi, but that's a pretty big goal. But it might be like the 100 pieces get a little bigger each year.
Skid steer soccer is also new this year, and West explains it's exactly what it sounds like. Meet the Machines will then close out with the destruction of a combine to round out their first half of the day.
That's basically, there'll be goalposts, there'll be a 4-foot in diameter soccer ball, and there'll be skid steers just like soccer. They're not allowed to pick it up with the bucket, just like you can't pick the soccer ball with hands, but they can push it with the bucket, they can nudge it, and it's going to be 4 skid steers, 2 per team, and then we'll just see. You know, I've never done this before. I've seen it done, but we'll just be interested to see how many goals get scored.
The defense side of things has got to be pretty difficult, probably. I'm sure. So,
and the other thing to add, we're also going to have 2 large track hose at each goal representing the goalie position. It'll be inside a, it'll be in the same track for the combine demo is going to be in. So nobody will be able to get harmed in any way.
The Combine Demo Derby will then start at 5 p.m. with 14 combines. Tickets are available for the grandstand event. Prices are starting at $20 for reserved seating and $10 for a place within the grandstand.
It was really unique how it started. We every year we do something at the end for Meet the Machines. We've destroyed buses, we destroyed something, but this year we're destroying a combine. Well, once people found out about it, they started calling about a demo. Well, we had so much interest, we discussed it with the fair board, and we're decided now this is after Meet the Machines, but there's going to be a complete combine demolition derby.
Combine Demolition Derby. You mentioned to me 14 of those bad boys are going to be out there.
We got 14 scheduled,
which is, to me, a crazy number for a first time. I figured that'll be going for a little while there when it comes to that. That's starting at 5 p.m. and that's still free.
No, you have to pay for the Combine Demolition Derby.
Okay.
That's not with the Meet the Machines, but everything else is free.
Gotcha. I think 14 combines getting destroyed is going to be worth that dollar amount. How much is that going to cost?
That is $20 for the grandstand.
$20 for the grandstand.
And $10 for reserve, or $20 for reserved, $10 for the.
Okay, so the reserve seating, 20,
yeah,
10 for the grandstand. Perfect. Meet the Machines will run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. A Power Wheels Derby will then take over at 4 p.m. before the Combine Demo Derby at 5. All events are scheduled for August 23rd of 2025. Brent West appeared as a guest on the WTIM morning show. This will conclude the first portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by First National Bank in Taylorville.
True community bank that's not going anywhere. If you're ready to make a change, we're ready to help. First National Bank in Taylorville, first every time for nearly 70 years. Member FDIC.
The Illinois State Police say new legislation will strengthen the state's ability to combat human trafficking and support survivors. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed the Illinois statewide Trauma-Informed Response to Human Trafficking Act. It creates a coordinated, multi-agency response, standardizing training, and also screening, while victim services across law enforcement, state agencies, and advocacy groups will all get a boost. The law also boosts penalties for child labor trafficking, removes the statute of limitations for civil suits by survivors, and expands training for those who may encounter trafficking victims, from caseworkers to inspectors. In Illinois last year, more than 200 possible cases of child trafficking were reported to DCFS, but officials say many cases will still go unreported. If you suspect human trafficking, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text 233733. Lincoln Land Community College in Taylorville has just days before class opens again for the fall, but the summer has been one of change for administration. New to the role of director is Elizabeth Fines-Workman, but that's nearly the only thing new to her. Fines-Workman has been a lifelong Taylorville resident and an instructor for the college for over 8 years now. Now in her newest position, she looks to bring in a renewed focus on community involvement and improving on curriculum and course offerings. Fines-Workman shares about herself first, from working at the Manners Park pool, her college years, to then moving back for her first public speaking gig at LLCC in Taylorville.
Born and raised in Taylorville, Illinois, right? The place holds a special place in my heart. So grew up here. At first, I started as, if some of you might remember, the West School Wildcats, right? So I was a West School Wildcat. And then I was a Taylorville Terrier, which some of you also might remember. And then finally a Taylorville Tornado, right? So I've been here my whole life. A lot of folks come into my office now that are wanting to be students, and they say, Elizabeth, you look super familiar. Like, why do you look so familiar? And I'm always like, I don't know. I go to the grocery store a lot. I don't know if that's it, right? But I think most of the time we come up with the fact that I worked at Manners Park Pool for a long time, right? So I started there when I was 15 years old as a lifeguard, and then I worked my way up to manager. And as soon as I say, oh yeah, I was the manager of the park pool, people are like, oh, that's it, right? So a few of students that have come in, I taught them swim lessons when they were like young, and I'm like, ooh, I'm old now and that sucks, but here we are, you know what I'm saying? So it's been awesome. So yeah, been in the community my whole life.
The title of director would be daunting for others, but Fines-Workman talks what led to her making this big change.
Essentially, I've worked at Lincoln Land for 8 years. Right out of college, I interviewed with Lincoln Land as a public speaking instructor, and I've been there ever since. So I've taught at Lincoln Land, Taylorville, Litchfield, main campus, online. I teach public speaking, the class that no one really wants to take. They're not super jazzed about, right? But I make it fun, I like to think. And I also teach first year experience in an interpersonal communication course. So yeah, not new to Lincoln Land. I love Lincoln Land, and I'm super, super, super jazzed to be the new director of Lincoln Land Taylorville. So my predecessor, Dee, now retired, she was the director of Lincoln Land Taylorville. And I kind of knew she was getting ready to retire, and we kind of talked, and I have huge shoes to fill with her. First off, she was wonderful. So she's like, hey, what about this job? And I've always kind of had my eye on the corner office. Don't get me wrong. Right. But when she said that, I was like, you know what? I can do this, and I want to do this. I want to be there for my community. It's a different feel, right? So when you're in the classroom, you get to know students on a different level, but now I'm advising them. So now I get to see them from start to finish, right? From the very first day they come into my office and sign up for classes to graduation. So I think that's going to be a real cool transition for me.
Priorities for this upcoming school year include additional community involvement and remaining committed to current and future students. Fines-Workman touches on some of those plans.
first and foremost, I want to provide a high quality education for the folks that I call neighbors here in Taylorville, right? And we're doing that, and we're doing a great job of that. Another goal that I have is just to get a little bit more involved throughout the community. Already, Crystal and April at the Chamber have made us feel welcome with the business after hours we hosted on August 6th, I believe, Crystal. And it went really, really well, and the community really showed out, and it was awesome. So more events like that, going to the high school, Taylorville High School, the junior high, getting involved with some businesses, maybe if they want me to be a speaker, that's always fun. The public speaking background, I'd love to do that. So yeah, just little things like that. Just getting involved and letting my community know, right? Our community know that Lincoln Land is there to support them in any way.
Lincoln Land Community College in Taylorville continues to add new courses, and this year is no different. Fines Workman goes through the long list of classes of all types.
At Lincoln Land Taylorville, we offer, drumroll, general biology, human anatomy 1 and 2, microbiology, contemporary chemistry, and we have a new course this semester that we're offering. It's natural disasters class, which honestly I kind of want to be in, so they might see me in there every once in a while. Public speaking, which I teach one class of that still. So if you want to get enrolled, well, right now my class is filled up, but next semester, right? So we have public speaking, English 1 and 2. We have economics, intro to film as literature, intro to weather and climate, U.S. history, American politics, intro to psychology and sociology, general math and statistics. We have CNA classes. And this semester, we are having education classes through our RISE technology. So
find out more about Lincoln Land Community College Taylorville at llcc.edu/Taylorville. Elizabeth Fines Workman appeared as a guest on the WTIM morning show. Moving now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and are brought to you by Sutton Memorial Home. This is Chad Sparks.
When a loved one passes, grieving family members and friends often are confronted with dozens of decisions about the funeral arrangements. Sutton Memorial Homes in Taylorville and Nokomis have been helping families in the area for over 55 years with these often difficult decisions. They offer pre-planning, traditional funerals, and cremation. Austin and the staff at Sutton Memorial Homes' goal is to make your family's transition easier in their time of need. Sutton Memorial Homes, where caring is what they do best.
46-year-old Elizabeth or Liz Ann Dyer of Taylorville, formerly of Durant, Iowa, died on August 16th. Visitation is August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Ruby Funeral Home in Springfield. Funeral service will be August 22nd at 12 p.m. at Ruby Funeral Home in Springfield. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Ruby Funeral Home in Springfield. 84-year-old Sharon Grab Kleinig of Nokomis died on August 11th. Visitation is August 29th from 9:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. at United Methodist Church of Nokomis. A celebration of life will be on August 29th at 11 a.m. at United Methodist Church of Nokomis. '89-year-old Betty E. Allen of Taylorville died on August 15th. Visitation is September 6th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Memorial service will be September 6th at 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Interment will be at Oak Hill Cemetery. Cremation rights have been accorded, and funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. And Alberta Marie Lanzani DiPietro of Taylorville died on August 17th. Visitation is August 23rd from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Funeral service will be August 23rd at 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Burial will be at Oak Hill Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Get details on these and other local news stories at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com or on WTIM. WTIM is your only local news radio.